Well, this is very interesting. I just learned this evening that it looks like on December 2nd, 2023, at the COP 28 Faith Pavilion, that Francis addressed many different religions, right? I've been telling you that he keeps preaching this message of reconciliation. And apparently, he's not just doing that with regard to the Protestants that bore out of this harlot, the Protestant prostitutes that bore out of the harlot, but also with other religions. Just, everybody get on the same page. We all worship the same God. Christians don't do that, okay? I don't know what I would have in common with a Buddhist. Like, we couldn't talk about the same thing. We couldn't get on the same page about how things need to go. And I couldn't get on the same page with Francis or any other Catholic about how things need to go, because I actually believe in the Word. And the Word says that when God starts sending these things to the earth, that we need to return to Him. It doesn't say that we start getting on the same page as every other religion, come together and submit to our quote-unquote leaders. Let me read to you what he had to say. Dear brothers and sisters, I greet you cordially and feel a great burden that I cannot be with you. I entrust Cardinal Parolin with the words I would have like to address to you. I want to tell you thank you. Thank you. Because you have, for the first time, established a religious pavilion within a COP. And thank you because this attests to the willingness to work together. Today, the world needs alliances that are not against anyone. By the way, I'm reading this from a video. Sorry for the pauses. But in favor of all. It is urgent that religions, without falling into the trap of syncretism, give a good example, working together not for one's own interests or those of one party, but for the interests of our world. The most important topics are peace and the climate. Okay, now let me tell you what he means by peace. What he means by peace is don't be speaking against the Catholic Church. Don't be speaking truth. Don't be speaking anything in opposition that's going to create any kind of division within this divided kingdom. And what man of God, what person of God refers to what God is sending in judgment as a call for his people to return to him? What person of God refers to that as climate change or as a climate issue? It should be framed as a spiritual issue. It should be framed as God is calling you in. Hello, return to God. How can you call this a man of God? That's insane. He goes on to say, let's set an example as religious representatives to show that change is possible and to exhibit lifestyles that are respectful and sustainable. What might that mean? You're speaking in generalities here. What lifestyles? You mean submit to science? Because that's what you mean. He goes on to say, let us earnestly urge the leaders of nations to preserve our common home. We are particularly invited to do this by the little ones, the poor, whose prayers reach the throne of the Most High. Yeah, definitely not yours. They're not reaching the throne of the Most High. For their future and for the future of all, may we safeguard creation, protect our common home, live in peace, and promote peace. Okay, these are words that sound like a lamb, look like a lamb, but he speaks like a dragon. He is speaking in opposition to God's covenant. God's covenant says return. He says submit to science. Do you understand his message? Submit to the leaders. And once this Antichrist has succeeded at bringing everybody together on the same page, conform to the world, conform to the pattern of the world, then it will wield its power. Then it's going to reign, that Antichrist kingdom of counterfeit Christianity. And you can see how this is happening. I mean, even pagans are entertained by shows like movies like The Passion of the Christ or shows like The Chosen. Like, even they're entertained by, hippie Jesus, woohoo! Jesus Revolution, woohoo! How stupid. Those shows have nothing to do with Jesus. They are so anti-Christ. The pagans lick it up, They love their Christmas. They love their Easter. Hello, guys, wake up. This is scary. And the reason, I just want to reiterate to you, because I told you this, I told you this a year ago. This is the covenant that's being extended by the Antichrist for 1/7. How is it a covenant, you ask? It is anti-covenant. It is in opposition to the covenant that you have with Christ. And therefore, you would be choosing a different covenant, guys. If you start submitting to an Antichrist field to tell you how to solve a problem that God already told you in your covenant, that this is the way to solve it, return to him and he'll heal you. You start submitting to science to resolve that. He starts sending illness to your body. He's dealing with you. And you go to a doctor, you go go practice witchcraft as a way to send away what God has sent to deal with you. Well, then that's your covenant. You got to submit yourself to leaders and to science. Okay, well, that's your covenant. That's what you have a contract with. And this is a 7-year period, guys. It's a 7-year period in which you have time to demonstrate who your covenant is with. Who are you fulfilling your contract with? You got 2 options. Now carefully consider the terms.